So we got the world, and I know on the bottom of the deck is the Four of Wands because that's the highest card we got on our last draw. Spread. Sandwich. I guess you could call it whatever you want. I need to think here, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, I don't know what we're pulling for, so that was kind of my question. Interesting. Okay, so what you all want to know about, because this isn't my main interest whatsoever. I don't know why immediately I'm like getting kind of hot and sweaty. This isn't even a card like that. Three of Wands. Okay. Okay, so we got dun 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 dun, Ace of Pentacles and Three of Wands. So this is a new start, something fresh, something that is currently manifesting in the material world. It's something that is having its building blocks stacked as we speak. And Three of Wands is like, so the building is being built. And with this Three of Wands, there's action being ready to be taken. Action is in preparation. There are things in motion. Decisions have already been made. So now it's just about the time, maybe the courage to take those steps. And this is from all angles, not just one person. I really don't know what you need to know. Because I think someone's gearing up. I don't know why I heard working out. Maybe somebody actually literally physically is working out more. I mean, it's been easier for me to stick to my yoga and Pilates routine, being where I am currently, just because there's like a home gym here at my friend's where I'm staying. But they also are obsessed with like glute workouts, and my first Pilates class ever was called Ass and Abs. So I'm like taking kind of more direction and advice, and I'm like absorbing it from my friend about all these glute and ass workouts. Booty, I don't know what's the kosherest thing to say here. But I'm taking their advice because like since the last time I've seen them, their butt is huge. And they've never had abs, and I kind of always have, but I go in fluctuations of like, again, this isn't about me. So this is a trade-off in a partnership right now, and like in our relationship as friends. I'm taking advice from them as they are taking advice from me, like an equal give and exchange, an equal exchange. So maybe that feeling is coming from the fact that I am growing. You need little micro tears in your muscles in order for them to grow, so you need to kind of exercise into excess. You kind of need to go into the point where you get those little micro tears, and it builds muscle, or the muscle gets bigger. It doesn't necessarily get stronger, it just gets bigger, but in saying that, I think they go hand in hand. For what I do with the rest of my body, I just tone, so I don't ever do anything to excess. Yoga is more about like endurance and stamina, and flexibility, mobility, balance, you know. So, and with this Ten of Pentacles, I'm gonna take that actually not as like you're doing everything by all means necessary. That's usually how I take this card. But since it flew out, and then the one I was feeling like was the one that should be pulled, and I pulled out of the middle of the deck was, and it happened to be the Ten of Pentacles. I'm thinking this is actually saying like you might be pushing yourself a little bit too hard for perfectionism. I know this isn't in reverse. I know we got it outright and we didn't get it in reverse. But I'm kind of feeling like the way that these cards are coming out actually is like you are putting your focus on something else, i.e. like your ass. In my case, I don't know what it is in your case. Hopefully it's not your ass. But you're putting focus on something instead of the things that actually need nurturing right now. So for this Ten of Pentacles to get this like too funny. It's too funny. I didn't even finish what I didn't even allow me to finish what I was saying. So we're gonna go back to this. Power couple. So what you're focusing on is something, I don't know what, you're focusing on something that like won't get you to, because Five of Swords isn't really a great card, and Ten of Pentacles is an amazing card. So you're focusing on something to get this amazing thing that isn't the right thing to be focusing on. And so when I was just asking, I think you just witnessed that, like, what will get us to this place, it is like being a power couple, having your skills be aid, having your skills be an attribute to the relationship, to somebody else. The things that will make you money is actually like it needs this other person. You need to make a choice on who, because the Lovers card is very much about like, you love love is lovely, but without making a decision. I just realized there's been a shadow cast this whole time. Sorry. Without making a decision. Okay, so I kind of like that. So it's like, see, there's like one aspect, like, and then there's the second, the shadow self. Like, I'm doing it again, saying like again. There's, instead of it's just my I guess. Okay, so I lost my train of thought too because I said like too many times. Okay, but it's double. There's two. There's you and your shadow self. There's you and your other person. So choosing your divine counterpart, matrimonious union, is almost, I think, to accept your shadow self into yourself so you can present yourself as one, not separate yourself from your shadow self. See how it's getting bigger as we pull the card away? To make it smaller, we accept it into ourselves, and then we both can come to each other. And then at the bottom of the deck we have the Nine of Cups. So totally what I was just saying, we need to accept these sides of ourselves, good or bad, just accept ourselves as a whole, as one, so that both people can be like, so both become one. And I want to pull one more card on this, but only one, because the bottom of the deck now says Four of Swords, so I think it's time to go to bed and end this reading. But so both of these lovers need to know that they're so close to the Ten of Cups, they're so close to their wish fulfillment and being together. They just, I think, need to embrace that shadow self. Some people call it demons. Maybe our demons are there to help us. There are a lot of demons in the underworld that got there with good intentions. You know how they say that something hell paid with good intentions or something? It's 11:11. I'm gonna have to stop this because it's just gonna be a minute of me silently wishing. Okay, so this is very unclear where the first step is going to come from. Very unclear. And it is so unclear because we got these two. I think that means it has to come from the masculine side, because when I said we got these two, I accidentally was keeping, this is the feminine, I think, hidden. But what's inside this deck makes me think well, inside this little 3-pack. It makes me think that because of this card, she's the one who has to take the first step. But what I just did makes me think now he's the one who has to take the first step. I don't know. But this one came out, King of Wands. Very creative, hot energy. Literally on his head is a flame. So many creative thoughts happening currently, firing off on all cylinders. So many thoughts of passion, passionate thoughts, a flame in his head. I'm just so happy. I'm sorry, this reading is so hard. If you are my energy watching this, I'm very happy for you too, because if this masculine feels this way about you, I hope you can finally relax soon. I don't know which pile came out first, because they came out at once, and they kind of came out like this. Oh, they came out kind of like this. So it was like this card was kind of above this one, so I feel like this causes that, which I'm sorry, now I'm going back and forth again, which makes me think that like this is the catalyst, this Empress, Ace of Swords, Queen of Wands. So this is divine union pairing, divine pairing. Use another word than divine. Mystical, magical. Fated. I don't know. Use whatever word you would like. But we literally didn't get any pages. Okay, I guess I flashed a knight to you guys earlier, Knight of Swords, but I mean, if this King of Wands is a Knight of Swords too, on top of the strength, like a strong Knight of Swords that is the King of Wands. No wonder when I started this reading I was like, I'm getting a little sweaty, guys, like what's going on? The Empress also to me, because I accidentally say Empress instead of Empress, makes me think of temperance always when I get the Empress, which means this is calm. This is a love where like maybe you can incorporate your shadow self and you won't be scared of them seeing those sides. I don't know, brain. My brain said, for once, maybe it will actually benefit this connection. And these things you've been told are bad about you, or these things that I'm like in disbelief, I guess, if this is truly what this reading means, and if this is what this is telling me. I'm in a little disbelief because it seems a little too good to be true, especially getting this card and then getting these two cards, and because our last reading, spread, whatever you want to call it, in this Ace of Swords card as well, both hands from both the clouds on both sides of the sword. And literally it's like 3 hands are coming from the left and 1 hand is coming from the right, or depending on how you look at it, 3 from the right, 1 from the left. However, 1 from the left and 1 from the right look feminine, and then 2 from the left look masculine. So I'm really not picking up on if this is communication needs to come from the feminine first or the masculine. I really have no, I'm really stuck with that. I think that's why this card also keeps coming up in my readings, because I am stuck with where is this communication going to come from? And communication is the first step to get to this providing for a family, being extremely prosperous, having a want nothing for want nothing material, you've got all the material things that you want, and for it to start in this material world. And unfortunately, I view pentacles, I know it says people view pentacles as it says coins on this card, money only. No, pentacles, material world, my flesh is matter. what you eat is matter. Having like prosperity, to have a healthy diet all the time and the exact nutrition that you need. That to me is these two cards as well. So going from the first, I apologize so much for how scattered this is. I probably am like extremely hot-headed right now or something, that I'm bouncing all over the place, and I don't have caffeine. I think it's just this this is how like excited positive news comes to me, how excited I get for positive things. Like, this could have read totally differently, and like we did get one card that like warns us of something. Every other card is amazing. We started with the world. This is a very big fish. This union is a big fish. Anyways, Queen of Wands and King of Wands. So this King of Wands card is kind of just the head, and the Queen of Wands card is like the whole person with a little cat at the bottom. And she also has cat ears in this. Super feminine. I'm kind of in her staff, and she has the staff in this one like held above her head. So I'm kind of reading this a little like the head of this relationship is this King of Wands. This king is the head over the queen. I mean, classic tale. But that's kind of how I'm reading it, especially because their card is like only the head, and it's so cute and so like stoic and strong looking, yet like very beautiful. Like, the way that it's drawn just perfectly actually like sparks in me like that is a beautiful drawing. So it's probably how you're feeling about this masculine, and I know I am. So and then she's a little bit more mature looking. She's totally covered up head to toe, like you can barely even see her ankles. And she's holding a sunflower. She has a flower atop her head, but it's more of like a headdress. And the fire is coming, I think, from her root chakra, her sacral energy. This cat at the bottom of this card, it's got two tails, and on each side of the tails it's lit a flame. Whereas in the King of Wands, his whole head is a flame. Which I think is very explanatory too. So this is gonna sound a little too anatomical, I think, for a lot of people. So I'm sorry if that's not something you're into, is anatomy. But like, for some reason, maybe it's when I went to learn yoga and Pilates, maybe it's who taught me and where I was taught from, that I was reading a lot of anatomy books at the time, and I just like fell in love with the human body so much. And simultaneously at the same time I was getting into art and nude modeling, and having to tap into my body so much just then made me become like in love with my body, and you know, have a real appreciation for a beautiful body. But the Empress, so the fact that there's like two flames here and there's one flame, but it's his whole head, and I keep saying that, and I'm really sorry about that. But it kind of reads to me like, in a sense, that women have two ovaries. You know, and so it's like the Empress here, fertility, your sacral energy, being like, not a temptress, but I was trying to avoid using the word goddess again, because that doesn't really describe much. Like, you sit in a glowing light of energy, that's great, but it's more so your allure. Like, you have this physical and sensual allure when you tap into it. Me personally, like, I'm very joyous I joke a lot. I've been called silly so much, so I'm a silly person. And yeah, I love to laugh, but I'm the forefront of a lot of conversations have been about sex. It's at the forefront of people's brains. The second I don't lie about what I've done in my life to people, they seem to make a lot of assumptions. And then I am just a dictionary, apparently, of answers for people who have questions. So in about a decade now, actually, yeah, that I've been doing this, I've had hundreds of conversations with people about their relationships, about sex, about stuck energy, about them viewing parts of their own sexuality as their shadow self, when I think only very few sexual preferences are shadows, to be honest with you. Wanting sex is not a shadow, that's just a part of yourself. And how you view your kinks, unless it's a no zone and I would judge you for it, when I don't judge anyone for like anything, there's literally maybe 3 things in the world of hundreds and hundreds of kinks that you can have that I would judge. I pretty much only judge maybe 4 of them that I know of, and I know a lot of them at this point. So it's like my creative power is to stand steadfast in the knowledge that I have and almost use it to uplift the creativity of this King of Wands, because Wands is about your creativity. It's literally 3 of Wands. It's literally like how you build yourself up, your ability to build yourself up, the direction you put yourself in, and how much like gumption you can give yourself to go in those directions. Okay, I am 4 of Swords, 4 of Swords, because that card told me to stop, and I just have a problem, I guess. And I wanted to clear this up, you know, and then I thought, okay, let's try and clear this up, because we're getting too far into this right now, because this King of Wands is making me speechless, that I feel like I'm a bit scattered, because like this King of Wands is so much. They're so big, they're so grand. They will be able to regrow their own tail, essentially, metaphorically, metaphysically, and be whole again, no matter, you know, what comes their way. And so I think it's a big energy to try to hold. And I am a very protectant person of myself, in my own energy. So to let somebody into my energy that is this powerful is a word I don't even know yet. It's not overtaking. It's just like causing a ton of growth inside of myself to be able to hold it, and to be able to try to tap into it, or to be able to overcome my own obstacles that are trying to combat it in order to protect myself from it, when I know this masculine energy is here to protect me for once in my life, is what my brain said. Hopefully we can hope and we can pray, right? Oh God, let's just do them all. I gotta do them all now, because I did it once on accident, and I don't know if they're superstitious. I don't even know if I am, but anyways, I got 3 cards for the masculine when I was like, for like kind of trying to clarify that Swords card, because it's like I just wanted to see what that warning is there. And so I think this female's hang up is her communication. The female's hang up is putting weight on the communication to come in or to not come in, or to have the courage to take that first step into communication herself, or to put herself out there and risk being ignored again in her life. I mean, not that that's really been something that happens, but it like seems to always end that way for this masculine. Oh God, I hope it doesn't end that way for them, because it's been like, that's pretty excruciating, and for some reason I really don't think that's it for my masculine, I guess, for my side, for the side of me that needs control or confirmation, or just to know that I'm making the right steps, I guess. Communication is really big for me, and when people halt communication or there are changes in communication, I'm very attuned to that. I'm like hyper aware on communicational keys or cues, both if they're different or the same, I don't fucking know. But I'm really attuned to changes in communication, or even like the minor behavioral, like in people, because I also did study quite a bit of psychology, and still kind of do, just out of my own curiosity, for the sake that it helps you better understand yourself and others, and function in this world accordingly. So that's her. His hang up is getting over this hard time he's had in love. In his past connections, maybe he felt like he had to fight for people, or they were constantly making him prove himself or prove his love. Maybe they were having him jump through hoops, or putting him through pain, as if him sticking around through the pain meant that he loved them. That's just awful, and not love. But anyways, you don't hurt the ones you love, not on purpose, at least, to test them. That's kind of fucked up. So sorry, masculine, if people have judged you way too harshly, or hold you to an unrealistic standard that they made up in their head because their effort has been misinterpreted, or I don't fucking care about those people. So I'm glad they're long gone, because this card wouldn't have come up if people hadn't have done that to you. I know, because this card comes up for me, because I know people have done certain things to me, and I've been left out in the cold, left on red a bunch of times, acted like I could be put on a shelf and picked back up when it was only convenient for them. So for the masculine, we got 2 knights, which is okay. I mean, these are really good cards for the situation we're pulling here. We got Knight of Wands and Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Wands is coming in with swift, bold action. It's like making a stance, or a statement, or not. It's not a grand gesture. You know, you're not setting your whole self on fire for them. You're just kind of, I think, letting them have a window into your psyche, maybe. The flames are blue in this card, so it's like a flame. It's like the blue part of the flame is actually the hotter part of the flame. You know, then the warm part, the cool part, is actually the hotter part. And I guess I'm thankful that other people have left you out in the cold, because you wouldn't be able to be so hot and passionate towards what you want if you hadn't been given what you didn't want. And so I'm really sorry that that's awful and sounds terrible. And I really, yeah, I wish that, like, I've never gone through anything terrible ever. I wish that the same wish applies to my own life. I wish I hadn't gone through any of the awful things. It's probably too heavy of a wish in my soul most of the time, but, you know, if it led me to where I need to be, I also would have to be thankful for it. Not quite yet, but if it does, I will be thankful for every pain I've been through, because I don't, butterfly effect, I guess, you know. And then once the obstacle or the hurdle of realizing that somebody else isn't going to leave you out in the cold I would never do that to anybody, and I've never done that to anybody, actually. I really haven't. If you were to know in depth more of my stories about my past and situationally relationships with people, I have let them. I've been in this position upright so many times, and I've forgiven these people over and over again, and they do it again, and then eventually I break, and it's just like, no more. Enough is enough. But I give somebody so many chances, and I've definitely been in this position so many times. And so this is reading when it's finally overcome. There's like a patient deliverance, a calm, and the curiosity, and a steadfast forward momentum. It's like a childlike, playful spirit about it. It's learning. It's almost like a book you can't put down, but you're not reading it all in one night. I can't help myself. I don't know if that was enough for you. And it's so funny because then we got the devil. So hopefully you'll never be enough for each other, in a sense. Like you'll never get enough of each other. And that will lead you both to a position of King of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles. And then you both will swiftly get your justice. Embracing your full self, embracing this person's full self. Swift justice. This is my perfect pairing for this, because it's like, I love justice coming in hot.